Hey, COP28 is going on now, thankfully.
Yes.
Because as we all know, the planet is being absolutely destroyed by CO2. And how hot is it in your area right now? I can't even imagine because it's been so hot.
Brutal.
It was, 50s, maybe the 60s over the weekend.
I mean, it got to 37
at night?
Yesterday morning, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
a little chilly.
What I love about the COP28 situation, they finally chose a warm destination for this.
They learned their lesson.
Where it was almost certain that there wasn't going to be snow while they're talking about global warming. Mm-hmm. However, with all the private jets flying into the desert for this, they were all coming from, a lot of them were coming from cold weather places where it's dang cold.
Oh, yeah.
And snowy.
Yep.
And there's a shot, I believe.
We got clip 2. You want to see the private jet that was on its way to the event?
Okay, in Munich, Germany, maybe?
It's on the runway in Munich.
Okay.
And they got a snow and an ice problem there, and now the plane is stuck to the runway, frozen solid. Look at
Literally
that.
Frozen to the tarmac.
That's awesome.
As it's trying to head out for the global warming conference.
Right. Hey, you know what, Joe? Play. I want Pat to play a game here. Name this European country. Clip 21. Where do you think over a foot of snow is? Where's this? Clip 21, please. If you could. Name that country, Pat.
Okay.
What country? It's Europe. I'll give you a hint. It's Europe.
It is somewhere in Europe. Mm-hmm. Look at that. It looks to be about a foot, right?
Yeah, it's over a foot.
Over a foot of snow. And I'm going to say.
Just beautiful.
It's obviously a cold weather climate.
Exactly. Maybe a Scandinavian country, you'd think. Right?
Maybe. Yeah, Finland. Sweden.
What's your final answer?
I'm going to say Finland.
It's the United Kingdom. That's Great Britain.
It's not great.
Yeah, show the map. Look at that.
60% snow cover in Europe right now. I think it's the most since 2010.
That's about right, yeah.
And it says right there. Europe hasn't seen a snow cover like this since 2010.
Yeah.
60% is blanketed in white.
Yeah, and you see that little speck, Northern Britain. I think either that's where that shot was from, or actually that screenshot, I think, was early in the weekend before that snow started falling. So it may be more than 60% covered at this point, quite honestly.
It probably is.
How cool is that?
But that won't make any difference to any of the douchebags who are meeting right now at COP28. Did you see, though, the head douchebag of the conference?
Wait, is that John Kerry?
No.
Oh, because we have a clip of him, but who's this you're talking about?
No, yeah, but let's play the John Kerry.
John Kerry, okay.
And then we'll talk about the president of COP28.
Okay.
But let me just tell you bluntly.
Okay, tell us.
When the best scientists in the world unanimously are telling us as leaders in our countries.
It's not unanimous. For the love of heaven. And the billionth time. It's not unanimous. There is not consensus on this.
And remember, while he's saying this, remember what's happening in Europe.
Right.
We showed you the plane on the tarmac.
Frozen
we showed you the
to
snow
the runway.
in Britain. And in fact, no wind, no sun, coldest day of the year in Britain was happening while he's speaking. So gas and nuclear was what was powering, keeping British residents warm. So anyway, Germany was going through this. I mean, it's just an energy nightmare on top of this tragic weather that they're having.
Right. So. All right, let's hear this.
That we are on the brink of
what?
Tipping points.
Tipping points.
Okay. From which you cannot come back.
Pause it again. We've been on the brink of tipping points for about 40 years, according to these guys. They've been screaming about this since, I don't know, before 1990. I remember Rush Limbaugh talking about what these morons were saying back then about it. They've been trying to get us fired up over this forever. Mm-hmm. And we have the same situation we've always had. We have cycles of weather. That's what this planet does. And that's what it's always done. I don't know if I can get through this.
You have to get to what he is saying about
try.
The temperature in Antarctica.
All right.
That the permafrost
Here we go.
or the Barents Sea ice,
right,
or the coral reefs,
the coral reefs,
or most importantly,
healthy,
the Arctic and the Antarctic.
Here we go.
Yes,
may be at tipping point or beyond.
Maybe at tipping.
Last summer, it was 70 degrees Fahrenheit above normal in the Arctic. It was 100 degrees Fahrenheit above normal in the Antarctic. And a massive component of ice that had been lodged in the mud because it was so heavy, it was stuck there, has now melted sufficiently that it's risen and moving across the Southern Ocean towards Georgia Island, and it will melt and accelerate the sea level rise of the planet.
Okay.
So
again, we've been hearing this
year,
for
we just learned
decades.
yesterday, it was confirmed.
What's
it's
up with
not
his
when
mouth?
we learned it. Was the hottest year in history, human history, that we measured.
That's what you say every year,
But
and it's just not true.
Now of every year, almost.
Yeah, there you go.
The
He
last
admitted
30
it.
You got there.
Uh-huh.
Decades, 3 decades ago was the third now warmest. The second decade was the second warmest, and this last decade
That's the warmest
in history.
in
So I'm not gonna
history
say more
ever
about it,
on this planet.
except to say
not
that
gonna
if
say
we
more.
can't hear Mother Nature and can't judge with our own eyes what the science is telling us.
Right,
This
then
is
what
not
happens?
about politics.
No,
There's
of course it is.
ideology.
Oh, my.
There's no pejorative.
It's
against
your
any one
religion.
business or any
What are you
approach.
talking about?
There is simply mathematics and physics, and
Mathematics.
some chemistry,
I can't
and
take
biology.
it. I can't.
He just
take
got
it.
That is what we are acting on.
He just got done saying, I'm not going to say anything more about it. Then shut the hell up, man.
Right, he can't.
Oh,
He can't. They've got to continue to lie.
Can you help me out? Because this is going to involve a little bit of Keith math, but I want to run something by you. If it's 70 to 100 degrees above normal in these, polar ice caps, right? Then shouldn't it stand to reason that the temperature here in Texas, like if it's 70 to 100 degrees warmer here, then we're probably going to be all dead any minute now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. But the same climate cultists, the same group, they're in the same circle as the oh my gosh, our planet's so crowded group, right?
Yeah.
So if it's that much warmer at the poles, is that not opening up more places for people to live? Shouldn't they be excited about that?
Well, no,
no.
Keith, because that all of that melting ice is going to create such a problem with rising seas.
Rising seas.
Do you know that the ocean level could increase by about 20 feet within the next 50 years if we're not careful, if we don't do something about it?
Okay.
That's what they want you to believe.
Well,
That's what
they're going to do something about it because John Kerry,
they're doing things about
he
it.
announced at COP28 that here in America, we're going to shut down coal plants. We're going to keep new coal plants from being built.
Right.
So congratulations. If you think the cost of energy is high now, just wait.
This is kind of fun, too. The COP28 president, who is Sultan Al-Jaber, he says there's absolutely no science behind phasing out fossil fuels. Wait, what?
That's funny. I didn't even think of that, where they're doing this.
They're doing it in Saudi Arabia.
They're doing it in fossil fuel land.
Yeah. Do you think Saudi Arabia is okay with phasing out fossil fuels? That ends that country if that ever happens.
I didn't even think of that.
It puts an end to it. So he also claimed over the weekend there is no science indicating that a phase out of fossil fuels is needed to restrict global heating to 1.5 degrees Celsius. I love that. But at least they have somebody who's willing to challenge them. He said a phase out of fossil fuels would not allow sustainable development, quote, unless you want to take the world back into caves, unquote. Comments were incredibly concerning and on the verge of, they were verging on climate denial, scientists said. What scientists? And they were at odds with the position of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Oh, no. You don't want to be at odds with Antonio Guterres. Nobody wants that. He made the comments in an ill-tempered response to questions from Mary Robinson, chair of the Elders Group and a former UN Special Envoy for Climate Change, during a live online event on November 21st. I'm surprised they didn't ban him from this get-together. as well as running COP28 in Dubai. Al-Jaber or Al-Jaber or Al-Jaber, I don't know how you pronounce his name.
I'm going with that one. I like that one.
Is also the chief executive of the United Arab Emirates State Oil Company, ADNOC, which many observers see as a serious conflict of interest.
What?
Huh. That's interesting.
If you just want the facts, then how is there a conflict of interest?
Yeah, I don't know. Also, there's no scientific evidence, he says, that eliminating fossil fuels would fix the problem. There's also no scientific evidence that fossil fuels are, in fact, fossil fuels. As we've said here, about 100 times, I believe that it is a renewable resource. I believe that it's some kind of goo that's created in the earth, and that's why we keep finding more. Every time we hit peak oil, they find more. And more and more.
It's funny how that happens.
And more. It's amazing to me how this happens. But it's kind of fun that they had Saudi Arabia and one of the sheikhs in Saudi Arabia. Well, he actually is from United Arab Emirates, but it's fascinating to me that they held it in an oil country. What do you think they're going to say? You think they're going to say, yeah, you know what? We should switch from fossil fuels right now. We should stop using oil this minute, and that would bankrupt our nation. Wouldn't that be great?
Mm-hmm.